Welcome to a fascinating journey where we will explore the extraordinary lives and tragic fates of the 12 apostles of Jesus Christ. They were not people of power or fame, but humble individuals from modest professions like fishermen, craftsmen, and farmers. Yet, these very people made history when they left everything behind, their families, careers, and daily lives, to follow the divine calling of God. They became living witnesses to one of the greatest events in human history, the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Not only did they witness this miracle, but they also carried an immense mission to preach the gospel to the ends of the earth, bringing the message of love and salvation to all. However, their journey was not always smooth. They faced challenges to their faith, as well as brutal persecution, torture, and tragic deaths. Their lives are a testament to courage, absolute faithfulness, and love for Christ. But what makes the story of the 12 apostles so captivating is not just the extraordinary acts they performed, but also the mysterious and debated circumstances surrounding their deaths. Each of them has their own unique story, passed down through the centuries, blending historical fact with ancient legends. Some were martyred in painful ways, while others disappeared into the mists of time, leaving us with unanswered questions. In this video, we will delve into each detail, exploring records from the Bible, church history, and ancient traditions. We will learn about each apostle's journey, the sacrifices and challenges they faced, and the mysteries surrounding their deaths. Their stories are not only about courage and faith, but also profound lessons on devotion and the power of love for Jesus. So, if you're looking for captivating stories and want to explore more about Christian history and faith, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and stay tuned until the very end. You won't want to miss any detail about these mysterious lives and the sacred messages the apostles left for us. John, the beloved disciple. Let's shed light on one of the most prominent apostles, John, often referred to as the disciple whom Jesus loved. He is a key and mysterious figure in Christian history, the son of Zebedee and Salome, and brother of James, another apostle. Imagine a disciple so close to Jesus that he was often mentioned with this affectionate title. This close relationship granted John unique insights into Jesus' teachings and the events of his life. With his spiritual sensitivity, John played a crucial role in spreading Jesus' teachings. He was present at key moments like the Transfiguration and the Last Supper. After Jesus' death, John became a steadfast pillar of the Christian community in Jerusalem. However, his life was not without hardship. He endured severe persecution, especially under Emperor Domitian, for preaching the gospel in Ephesus. According to tradition, John was said to have been boiled in a vat of oil but miraculously survived. This miraculous survival led the emperor to exile him to the island of Patmos, where he spent the remainder of his life in prison. Although the Bible does not mention this oil-boiling incident, church tradition holds onto the story. On the island of Patmos, John had visions that later became the content of the book of Revelation. The death of John remains a great mystery. According to records by Bishop Polycarp and Eusebius, John died in Ephesus around the year 100 AD at the age of 94. However, when Emperor Constantine inspected his tomb with the intent to build a memorial, it was found empty. The final years of John's life are shrouded in mystery, and his departure seems to mark a mysterious transition from this world. The knowledge and wisdom he and the other apostles accumulated throughout their lives became the foundation of the Christian community, and their profound teachings continue to guide, instruct, and inspire believers to this day. James. Now we turn to James, the son of Zebedee, one of the faithful witnesses who saw both the miracles and the suffering of Jesus. Like many of the other apostles, James's life was a journey filled with hardship and trials. But his fate took a different turn after the death of Jesus. In an effort to gain favor with the Jews, King Herod Agrippa ordered the execution of James. Although specific details are not clearly recorded, tradition holds that he was either beheaded or stabbed with a sword. One interesting point is that there are two apostles named James in the Bible. The first is James, the son of Zebedee, also known as James the Greater, one of the apostles who had a close relationship with Jesus. The second is James, the son of Alphaeus, known as James the Lesser, who played a relatively more modest role in the story of the apostles. James the Lesser's role in the Gospels is not as emphasized as the other apostles, and after Jesus' death, information about his life becomes scarce. Tradition suggests that James the Lesser may have participated in missionary journeys to preach the gospel. However, details about his death are unclear, and there are many differences in the traditions. According to Christian teachings, James the Lesser also met martyrdom under the order of King Herod Agrippa I in Jerusalem, facing death by public beheading. His death, like that of many other apostles, stands as a testament to his sacrifice and loyalty to Christ. And though his life is mentioned less frequently, James's role in spreading the gospel remains an integral part of the Christian story. Peter. Now, let us shed light on one of the most important figures among the 12 apostles, Peter. Originally known as Simon, he was a simple fisherman from Galilee. But when Jesus called him, Simon's life changed forever. He was given a divine mission, to become a fisher of men. It was Jesus who changed his name to Peter, symbolizing a solid rock, a representation of the strong faith and steadfastness that Peter would embody. Peter was a passionate and devoted figure. He witnessed countless miracles of Jesus and was even the first to acknowledge that Jesus was the Christ. He played a key role in the Last Supper and led the apostles after Jesus' death. However, one of the most memorable events in Peter's life was when he denied Jesus 3 times during the moment of Jesus' arrest. This denial became a stain on his heart, but Peter repented deeply and was restored by Jesus after the resurrection. After Jesus ascended into heaven, Peter embarked on a long journey throughout the Roman Empire, preaching the gospel and building Christian communities. Eventually, he settled in Rome, where he became the leader of the Christian community there. Peter's life in Rome was far from easy, especially as he faced brutal persecution under Emperor Nero. In 64 AD, a great fire broke out in Rome, and Nero blamed the Christians, igniting a wave of ruthless persecution. Peter was arrested and sentenced to death. According to tradition, when facing death, Peter requested to be crucified upside down, as he felt unworthy to die in the same manner as Jesus. The site of his crucifixion later became the location of the famous St. Peter's Basilica. Peter's death was not just an act of humility, but also a powerful testimony of his absolute loyalty to Christ. Though he died, the faith he spread and his sacrifice left an indelible legacy that continues to inspire believers through the centuries. Philip and Simon. Next, we move to Philip, another of the apostles called by Jesus from Bethsaida. Philip was not only a faithful apostle, but also a witness to many important miracles, including the feeding of the multitude with loaves and fish. Philip was known for his practicality and realistic calculations, especially in the story when Jesus asked him how to feed a large crowd, and Philip calculated the necessary amount of food. However, Jesus' miracle exceeded all human calculations. After Jesus' death and resurrection, Philip continued to play a significant role in spreading the gospel, undertaking missionary journeys to distant regions like Samaria. However, the details of his death are unclear. Some Christian traditions suggest that Philip was martyred either by crucifixion or stoning in Hierapolis, Asia Minor, around 80 AD. Although his life ended tragically, Philip's contributions to Christianity still resonate to this day. The death of Peter. Peter's death is one of the most poignant and meaningful events in Christian history. When Peter arrived in Rome and led the Christian community there, he faced intense persecution under Emperor Nero. In 64 AD, a massive fire broke out in Rome, and Nero quickly blamed the Christians, leading to a brutal campaign of oppression. Peter was arrested and sentenced to death for his faith. However, Peter's humility in his final moments left an unforgettable mark on Christian history. According to tradition, Peter requested to be crucified upside down, as he felt unworthy to die in the same way as Jesus. The place where he was crucified, Vatican Hill, later became the site of the construction of St. Peter's Basilica, one of the most sacred locations in Christianity. Peter's death was not the end, but the beginning of a great legacy. His redemption from denial, his courage in the face of persecution, and his ultimate sacrifice transformed Peter into a symbol of loyalty, unwavering faith, and leadership within the Christian community. His story, from a simple fisherman in Galilee to the solid rock of the church, continues to inspire millions of people throughout the centuries. Judas Thaddeus. Judas Thaddeus, though not mentioned frequently in the Bible, played a very important role among the apostles. He was the one who questioned Jesus during the Last Supper, asking about the deeper meaning of his teachings. After Jesus' death, Judas Thaddeus continued his journey of spreading the gospel with unwavering zeal. He traveled to distant lands such as Mesopotamia and Persia to preach the faith. His role in spreading the gospel to lesser-known regions helped lay the foundation for Christian communities in those areas. However, the death of Judas Thaddeus is shrouded in mystery, with different legends surrounding it. Some Christian traditions claim that he was martyred by being stoned to death, while others suggest he was killed with a blow from an axe. Whatever the true event, the death of Judas Thaddeus became a symbol of absolute loyalty and devotion to Christ. He is venerated as one of the patron saints of desperate cases and those in hopeless situations. The story of Judas Thaddeus' sacrifice is not just one of martyrdom, but also a lesson in courage and unwavering faith. Andrew, the brother of Peter, held a unique role among the apostles. Though his name was not as prominent as some of the other apostles, Andrew was the first of the 12 to be called by Jesus. This marked a major turning point in his life. Andrew was a simple fisherman, but his loyalty and faith made him one of the most powerful preachers. After Jesus' death, Andrew dedicated his life to spreading the gospel and establishing Christian communities in new lands. According to tradition, Andrew preached the gospel in regions such as Scythia, Greece, and the eastern parts of the Roman Empire. However, Andrew's life ended tragically in the city of Patras, Greece, where he was arrested and sentenced to death. Like his brother Peter, Andrew felt unworthy to be crucified in the same manner as Jesus. He requested to be crucified on an X-shaped cross, a symbol later known as the St. Andrew's Cross. Andrew sacrificed his life, and his death became a powerful testament to humility and boundless loyalty to Christ. His martyrdom left a lasting legacy, and his cross is still considered an important symbol in Christianity, especially in Scotland, where he is venerated as the patron saint. Philip, one of the first apostles called by Jesus, is known for his practicality and rationality. In many stories, Philip demonstrated these traits, such as in the miracle when Jesus fed the crowd with only a few loaves and fish. Faced with the situation, Philip responded by calculating the amount of food needed in a very practical way, but the miracle of Jesus surpassed all those human limitations. After Jesus' death, Philip continued his mission by preaching the gospel in various regions. Philip traveled to distant places such as Samaria and made significant contributions to the establishment of Christian communities there. However, Philip's death was a sorrowful event. Although the details are not clearly recorded, many traditions hold that he was martyred either by crucifixion or stoning in Hierapolis, a city in Asia Minor. He died for his faith, but Philip's contributions to the development of early Christianity still echo to this day. Simon the Zealot is one of the least known apostles, but his story is full of mystery and intrigue. He was called the Zealot, a nickname suggesting that he might have once been part of an extremist political and religious group fighting for Israel's independence from Roman rule. Little is known about Simon's life before he met Jesus, but from what we know, Simon underwent a profound transformation when he decided to follow Jesus and become one of his apostles. Although details of Simon's life and death are unclear in the Bible, according to Christian tradition, Simon endured terrible torture during persecution under Emperor Trajan. Some sources claim that Simon was flayed alive and then sawed in half in a brutal form of martyrdom. Simon's death was not only a testament to his courage and steadfast faith, but it also left a profound mark on Christian history about the persecution that the apostles had to face. Bartholomew, one of the less mentioned apostles, has a captivating and tragic story. After Jesus' death, Bartholomew set out to preach the gospel in far-off lands such as India, where he successfully converted many people. However, Bartholomew's success attracted the attention of King H, who arrested and sentenced him to death. Bartholomew's death was one of the most brutal among the apostles. According to tradition, he was flayed alive before being crucified upside down, a particularly cruel form of martyrdom. However, other legends suggest that Bartholomew escaped death several times miraculously, but he was ultimately crucified in Hierapolis, Asia Minor, around 51 AD. Whichever version of the story is true, Bartholomew's death left a deep mark of sacrifice and boundless loyalty to Christ. Matthew, one of the most remarkable apostles, has an inspiring story of transformation and devotion to Jesus. He was initially a tax collector in the city of Capernaum, a profession despised and scorned in Jewish society at the time. Tax collectors were often seen as traitors to their people because they worked for the Roman government and frequently exploited people by overcharging taxes for personal gain. But Matthew's life took a dramatic turn when he was called by Jesus, and he immediately left everything to follow him. The story of Matthew's transformation is a testament to the power of faith and forgiveness. From a man reviled by society, he became a faithful apostle and made great contributions to Christianity, especially through his work, the Gospel of Matthew. This gospel is not only one of the 4 foundational gospels of the New Testament, but is also regarded as one of the most important works in Christian history, providing profound insights into the life and teachings of Jesus. After Jesus' ascension, Matthew dedicated his life to preaching the gospel. According to tradition, he went on missionary journeys to various lands, including Ethiopia, where he met his death. Ancient records state that Matthew was killed by the sword while preaching, sacrificing his life for his faith. Matthew's death is a testament to his unwavering loyalty to Jesus and his dedication to spreading the gospel despite the dangers and challenges. Thomas, often called Doubting Thomas, is one of the most famous apostles for his skepticism. Thomas's story revolves around an event after Jesus' resurrection when the other apostles had seen him, but Thomas was not present and refused to believe in the resurrection unless he saw it with his own eyes and touched Jesus' wounds. This led to the nickname Doubting Thomas, a man who demanded clear evidence before believing. But Thomas's story is not just about doubt. When Jesus appeared to him and invited him to touch his wounds, Thomas immediately exclaimed, "My Lord and my God." This proclamation is one of the strongest testaments to the transformation from doubt to absolute faith. This event made Thomas a symbol for those who need further proof to strengthen their faith. After Jesus' ascension, Thomas traveled to distant lands to preach the gospel. According to Christian tradition, Thomas carried out his mission in India, where he founded the first Christian communities. However, Thomas's death was tragic. According to records, he was martyred by being speared to death in Chennai, India, after completing a successful missionary journey. Thomas's death is a symbol of strong faith and unwavering loyalty, despite his initial doubts. Judas Iscariot, whose name is synonymous with betrayal, is one of the most prominent figures in Christian history. He was the one who betrayed Jesus, selling him to the religious leaders for 30 pieces of silver. Judas's actions led to Jesus' arrest and subsequent crucifixion. The motives behind Judas's betrayal remain a great question, with many different theories. Some suggest he was disappointed by unmet expectations of a worldly kingdom, while others believe he may have been driven by greed or personal discontent. Judas's story is not only one of betrayal, but also of regret and despair. After realizing the terrible consequences of his actions, Judas tried to return the money and undo his betrayal, but it was too late. Tormented by his conscience, he eventually hanged himself. In the Bible, Judas's death is described differently in different books. In the Gospel of Matthew, Judas hanged himself after returning the money, while in the Acts of the Apostles, he fell and his intestines spilled out. Both accounts agree that Judas's death was a tragic end, reflecting the inner turmoil he experienced after betraying Jesus. The field where Judas took his life, called Field of Blood, became a burial place for foreigners and criminals and has since become a symbol of betrayal and remorse. Judas's story serves as a solemn reminder of the consequences of betrayal and the importance of sincere repentance. The field where Judas took his own life, known as the Field of Blood, holds a significant place in Christian history. This plot of land, purchased with the 30 pieces of silver that Judas received for betraying Jesus, became a burial ground for foreigners and criminals. Over time, it transformed into a powerful symbol of both betrayal and remorse. Judas's act of turning against Jesus, followed by his overwhelming guilt and tragic end, offers a cautionary tale about the consequences of betrayal. His story emphasizes the need for sincere repentance and the heavy weight that unaddressed guilt can carry. The fate of Judas serves as a somber reminder of the spiritual and moral challenges that individuals face when they abandon their conscience. Yet, the journey of Jesus' 12 apostles extends far beyond Judas's betrayal. Their lives and sacrifices open a window into the deeper world of faith, loyalty, and unwavering dedication to a divine mission. The stories we've explored together contain powerful lessons that remind us of the enduring strength of faith and the ultimate sacrifice for a higher cause. However, this is only the beginning. The Bible holds countless more legendary stories, filled with moral wisdom, miraculous events, and historical figures whose legacies continue to shape Christian faith today. If you found inspiration in the lives of the 12 apostles, be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss upcoming stories about other extraordinary figures from the Bible. From mighty kings and fearless prophets to courageous women and astonishing miracles, we'll continue to delve into these timeless narratives. Click the bell icon to receive notifications when new videos are posted. Share this story to help spread the message of faith, and let us know in the comments which biblical figure you'd like to learn about next. Join us as we journey deeper into the rich history and teachings of the Bible, and stay tuned for more awe-inspiring stories in the episodes to come.